Dude, need we say more? You saw the show tonight. You tell me this was a hot show, right?
It was super hot. I can't wait to see it in my hometown of San Diego.
Nice.
Dude, we love this band. San Diego's been very kind to this band, too. So we've been getting a lot of love down there on the record. So, I mean, listen, we love, we love Chicago. We love being here at NARM. This is a good look, man. This band is one of the next new young bands to come in. I do believe that in years they'll be playing stadiums.
Why 7 in the band? That's an interesting number.
Aslan North, tell us about the 7.
Well, we got big shoes to fill. There's a lot of great bands that, we got to walk behind. Like, you got Linkin Park, Wilco, you got Slipknot with 9 members, you've got The Roots with 7 members. So these are bands that have an incredible blueprint that we're following. And when they get into the studio, all of a sudden you got all this great music and you got all these tracks. You don't want a machine to play it on stage. You want to play it yourself. And so as we started building this and we were all buddies and we just were improv artists, we realized let's just be the band. There's 7 of us. We recorded a lot, but let's play it on stage so that no machine takes our place.
You guys look like great friends.
Create a big sound. You got to have some big people.
Yeah. Now, why at NARM?
Listen, we were so gracious to play here. Our fearless leader, Mr. James Diener, was giving the keynote speech this year, and I heard it went down amazingly well.
I was there. It was good.
Yes, and so, he said, listen, I mean, what would you guys think about coming? And I mean, I love NARM, and it's just such a great arena for the whole industry to see these guys in, you know what I mean? So the crowd just embraced them so lovingly, man. I'm really happy we did it.
Oh, it's amazing.
Well, let's talk about this season of American Idol. I mean, how can you actually manage a band and be on American Idol and be this rock star? I mean, you're doing so many things. How do you have time to even breathe?
It's all about the love. You gotta always do what your passion is. You know what I mean? My passion is still music. Love it immensely. It's everything that I always love. And Idol, the season's coming down to an end, so we got 2 more weeks left, and somebody's gonna win, and I know you're voting.
Yeah, who
are you voting for? I can't vote. Who are you voting for?
I don't know yet, but who should I vote for?
You don't know yet. There's only 3 people left. Hurry up.
Who should I vote for?
Crystal.
Who should we vote for?
Crystal.
This room says Crystal. Hey, you never know. Come down to a boy and a girl in the final.
It's amazing. At what age did you decide you wanted to be a musician?
I was 13, 14 years old. Yeah.
And what was the first instrument that you played?
First instrument that I actually played was drums. Then I played guitar. Then I played bass. Then I played saxophone for a long time. Then I went back to bass.
So one last question. What advice do you have for children that want to get involved in the music business?
Learn everything you can. Get in school. Take private lessons. Become the best that you can be. And do it because you actually are passionate about it and you really love it. Do it for the fun and the love of it. Don't even think about money for a long time.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nikos Palashandran. I'm a songwriter-producer.
And you wrote most of the music for the Paper Tugs.
Well, I would say I wrote 50% of the record with Asmar, pretty much, before we went into the studio and got big names involved that helped us to make the record what it is now.
What's it like working with Randy Jackson?
Amazing. Really, really amazing. I mean, it's such an honor to have a person like him believing in our music, because we not just make music to make music, we really want to change the entire world. And when Randy hopped on board, it felt like that all our dreams are tangible and that we can really reach this generation and make a statement to be mainstream, be commercial, be pop culture, but be still so different in our mindsets, in our values.
I'm James Diener. I'm the CEO and president of A&M Octone, and we're here at Buddy Guys tonight with my band Paper Tongues, who just performed here in the club for the entire NARM panel.
Well, you did the keynote speech today.
Yes, I did, yes.
Amazing. I mean, your company, it's come a long way. I mean, you've got some fantastic acts, and now you have the Paper Tongues. What are your plans for them?
Well, first of all, it's a big team effort, the company overall, and Paper Tongues is, of all the artists we have coming up, this is the one that we have a real special point of pride in. The band's record just debuted #1 on the Billboard New Artist Chart a few weeks ago, Single of the Week on iTunes, and the band's been really just beginning the whole ascent. They've been actually touring for the last year, radio play. The current single, Trinity, is in the mid-20s already at Modern Rock here in the United States. So the reason I'm telling you all these chart positions projections and statistics is that we're just beginning the word of mouth and the build on the group. You're going to see the band on tour at least for the next year or two as we develop the group.
This is a pretty big deal for Randy to actually manage a band.
No, big deal for me too. I mean, Randy and I worked together for years, many years ago at Columbia Records, and when he called me and said, "James, I'm managing this band," I said, "Randy, you don't manage bands. You're on TV. You're the busiest guy in America. You have a dance crew, American Idol, writer of books, clothing, apparel." He said, "No, I found one band that means so much to me that I'm going to manage the group." And I said to him, "If that's important enough for you to manage, we want to sign the group. Let's listen to that band." And we all agreed once we heard the original demos, something very, very special.
That's amazing. Well, do you have any advice for children who want to get into the music business?
Oh, well, first of all, there's lots. You should study your instrument very hard. I mean, a lot of children who are just starting to play, it would be great if they get lessons, and obviously there's a lot of time spent learning their craft first. I see a lot of artists who really haven't mastered what they do before trying to first get into the music business. But I would say really learn your instrument, learn how to write songs, write great lyrics, write great songs, and that's the best way to start. From there, the business will come to you.
And why NARM? Why is NARM so important? Because, you know, they have debuted some really greats. There's Mariah Carey, there's Taylor Swift, there's NSYNC, and now there's the Paper Tongues.
Yeah, well, first of all, NARM is the premier music business convention. They're the leaders in the game. So for us to be invited to play for them, and we have everybody here that we would need to see the band at this point in time. Jim Donio is the president of NARM, gave us a gracious invitation to play the event. He said, "How could we pass this up?" In the club tonight was pretty much all the heads of all the retail chains, etc. And so again, it's really where you can get the greatest concentration of critical mass from the tastemakers who make the business.
Hey, I'm Aswin North from Paper Tongues.
I'm Devin Forbes.
And we are here in Chicago about to play Buddy Guys. Actually, we were told it's going to be one of the last performances in the venue. They've relocated 2 blocks up the street, so it's an absolute honor to make it here and play in a venue, a historic jazz venue, right before it goes out. Blues artists, jazz artists, all kinds of crazy cool folks have been here. Yeah, we're going to play a show tonight, and from what we know, it's called the NARM.
NARM.
N-A-R-M? N-A-R-M? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the NARM. And we were honored to be brought here, but we really got here because I think they were friends with James Diener, who's the president of our record label, A&M Octone, and he wanted to bring Randy in to introduce us because Randy's our manager, pretty much our basketball coach, so to speak. And for whatever reason, I think everyone here is interested probably in seeing Randy, but we're going to give him a show. Hopefully they'll never forget.
How did Randy find you guys, and what kind of style are you?
Well, we found Randy. We found Randy eating at a beautiful restaurant on the Sunset Strip in Hollywood called the Majrian Hotel. In their restaurant, inside on the patio out there with this beautiful pool overlooking the whole valley of LA. And I actually was with my buddy Matt, and we ran into him and were leaving and didn't know him, had no connections to him. And I remember seeing him play bass for Mariah Carey on a Grammy Award show. And so I was standing outside and we were going to go get our car, and we saw these Valley guys getting cars, and like, you know what, let me just go borrow a piece of paper from these cats and just write down my name and number, put down in MySpace where our music is, and just see what he says. And so we decided to go back in and walk up to his table. He's sitting there, he's got this really cool top, like big, tall top hat on, like black hat, really cool long medallion. He's in a black t-shirt, just looking real cool, sitting with a colleague, and they're just talking, eating beautiful food, like a magazine picture food. And I walk up, I'm like, "Yo, are you Randy Jackson?" And he's like, "Yeah, yes I am." I'm like, "All right, cool." So I slide his plate of food over and slam down this torn off corner of a piece of paper. And he's like, "Yo, little star, like, what's going on, man?" I was like, "I don't know, you tell me, coach. Here I am in the music industry, you're in the music industry, and I'm over here talking to my colleagues about the music business, and you're probably doing the same thing. And yeah, I just did the showcase last night with Jason Flom, from president of Capitol Records. He's no longer anymore. And we were there, we had Ronnie Jerkins, a.k.a. Darkchild, and all these other people there, and here I am running into you. So I don't know, you tell me, why are we here? You probably know better than me." And he looks at his colleague and just kind of goes, "He's getting his grind on. I like that dog." And we pound up, and then we just start rapping for a few minutes. He's like, "Listen, if the music's good, I'll call you back." And we leave, get in the car. 2 hours later, we're back in the car again, and Randy calls. Answer the phone, "Aswan, Randy Jackson." I'm like, boop, hit speaker on my phone. I'm like, "Randy, what's up?" He's like, "Yo, Get Higher's my song, dog. Get Higher's my song." And I'm like, oh my God, this dude went to our MySpace. Really? And that was it. He's like, yo, what are you doing tomorrow? And he's like, come and meet me over at my studio. I was like, you tell me where to be, coach. I'll be on time. I'm ready to go. And so the next day we're over there at the studio with Brian West, our producer, and talking for about 3 hours, listening to all his stories in his life. And, you know, find out he was a studio musician for Herbie Hancock, Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, had been in the band Journey, had helped create the jazz fusion movement, was just a phenomenal producer as well, did on a lot of important records, had helped develop with Mariah Carey's career, just got through producing Travis Tritt's record, Boys the Men, just done tons of stuff, been responsible for helping find great talent. So I was like, wow, there's more to this guy than just being on reality TV. I mean, we dig him on reality TV, but it just became one of those epic things that you'll never forget, and you can't believe it happened to you. And so thus, that's how we found Randy. And he was the first guy to actually believe in us as a band, you know, so that was amazing too.
And that's truly the American dream.
Yeah,
I mean,
really is.
Did you realize it would be so easy?
It wasn't so easy. I mean, it's you know, it's so funny. These stories sound easy, but they're not easy. I mean, the hardest thing to do is to walk up to a mega celebrity that is on the #1 TV show in the world, and to walk up to the #1 TV show in the world, and then stop him, move his plate of food over, and start talking to him and hope that he doesn't have security or bodyguards tackle you, put you in a headlock, and drag you to a van and take you out. Yeah. So it definitely wasn't easy. And I got to say, I think it was the high that we had been on. We had been showcasing in L.A., and I think the high that we were living on with the music and the buzz that was going on probably contributed to the hyperactivity that I let get loose that day. But it's been a hard road. But with Randy, he's changed the game. He hasn't taken away the workload. He hasn't taken away the exercises that we got to do. I mean, and the hard work that we put in. But he's definitely guided us in some sharky waters in the unknown, and he knows what we don't know.
That's pretty terrific. Tell me about your musical style.
Yeah, you ask us about our music. It's an interesting thing. We don't exactly know how to describe our music. Everybody would describe it in a different way, but because I mean, it's everything from Journey to the Roots, you know, to
which is a good description.
Which is a good description, I guess. That's how Aswan likes to describe it. But it's, you know, it's rock and roll with an underbelly of hip hop beats to it, and I don't know a better way to describe it. It's got everything in it.
Electronica. It's got a little bit of the funk. It's got some of the folk rock. You know, if you went to all of the members' iPods, you'd find different music selections.
Well, you have 7 members.
Yeah,
we do.
And how did you all 7 get together?
We all met in Charlotte, North Carolina. We all came together there. Like, some of us were going to school there. Some of us just moved because of our families, whatever. Everybody's kind of from a different place. We've got like South Dakota, Minnesota, Arizona, the Bronx, Virginia. We've got all of these different areas represented in the band. Everybody met in Charlotte. And Aswan had put together this musical experience that was in Uptown Charlotte. We just called it Uptown. And every week, well, the first, second, third Saturday of every month, we would get together and just play improv stuff uptown. We'd set up a sound system, plug into the city power, and we just play for whoever wanted to stop and, you know, stop by and listen. And even the people who would stop by and listen, you know, they were welcome to come up and jam with us if they wanted to.
Yeah,
you know?
it's just a straight up improv jam session, and that's really how we all came together and met. I mean, if you put the drummer and the rhythm guitar and me together, we've been playing gigs for over 9 years together. Never were in a band. We just played gig after gig together. Devin, Cody, Clayton, we've been playing music together for 5 years, but we've officially been a band together as one unit for 3 years.
And do you have any advice for children who actually want to become a musician and, like you, and might idolize you in the near future?
Well, okay. You know, if we were to give advice, as young as we are, this might sound too big for our britches, but you never really can give up on your dream. We have a lot to go out there and prove right now. We're paying our dues, so you could hear this from somebody that really deserves to tell you better than us, but I will say that at this point, we're still fighting for our dreams. We have not achieved what we want. We haven't acquired our goals, but we believe that kids are never supposed to give up, regardless of the hardships. None of us blame our pasts or blame what we're going through right now as a reason why we can't make it. We use it as our fuel. We pour it in our gas tank and we keep driving.